Okay, let's get ourselves ready for our restorative practice. So get a blanket on top of your usual yoga mat, just to give you extra comfort and quietness. So just lay the bolster over the blanket over the top. Just make sure I switch my microphone on. And then have a folded blanket for your head. Just make sure that it's folded evenly and it feels level. Have a bolster underneath your knees. Have a couple of blocks to support your feet. And then if you feel like you might be chilly, have a blanket to cover yourself with. So just lay yourself down on the floor, have a bolster underneath your knees, blocks underneath your feet. And then just get yourself ready, get yourself comfortable. And remember that you're not always comfortable straight away. So sometimes you'll have to just rearrange a few times until you do feel comfortable. So you can cover your eyes for darkness if you want to, or you can just keep your eyes closed. So just allow yourself to release down into the floor. Just feeling how the floor supports your back and your hips and your legs and your feet. Just listen to the sound of your breath. Just using your exhalation to release more deeply into the floor. Observe how your body is supported by the floor. The floor feels against your shoulders and your back, and your arms and your legs. Just allowing yourself to release down into the floor. Use your out breath to draw into any regions of resistance that resist the relaxation of the rest of the body. As you stay in position, just observe how the body can release, just let go of the muscles of the arms and the legs. Observe where the equipment supports the shape of the body. Just releasing the physical body into the floor. Use each exhalation to just release a little more, giving yourself permission to relax. So with each exhalation, allow yourself to just let go a little more, giving yourself permission to relax. Observe a feeling of warmth around the feet. Warmth and lightness radiating out from the sole of the foot and the top of the foot. Observe the sensation of the skin on the sole of the foot. Relaxing the sole of the foot with the exhalation. Relaxing the skin over the top of the foot with the exhalation. Observe that sensation of lightness around the feet, around the sole of the foot, and then completely relax the sole of the foot. Relax the top of the foot. Draw your attention to the top of your foot and consciously relax the skin and the muscle and the bones of the top of the foot. so that the feet feel as though they are light as a feather. And then draw your attention into your shins, feeling that the shins are full of lightness. It radiates out from the bones into the skin and the muscle and the flesh. And then allow the shins to completely sink into the calf muscle. And then allow the shin bone to sink into the calf muscle. Draw your attention into your thighs, just feeling as though the skin radiates with positive lightness and energy. And then soften and relax the shins into the calf muscles, allowing them to become light as a feather. Draw your consciousness into your thighs. Draw your focus into your thighs, just observing that feeling of lightness that comes from focusing on individual body parts. And then allow your thighs to consciously sink into the thigh bones and the thigh muscles. Fronts of the thighs sinking into the backs of the thighs. Allow the thighs to sink into the floor, the fronts of the thighs to sink into the backs of the thighs. Draw your attention into the hips and the torso. And allow the muscles around the pelvis and the abdomen and the ribs and the shoulders to just sink into the floor. And then draw your attention into your shoulders and into the upper arms and the forearms, completely releasing into the floor. Just taking deep inhalations and allowing the torso and the shoulders and the neck to relax with the out breath. And allow your shoulders and your arms, the upper arms and the forearms and the backs of the hands to rest into the floor. And bit by bit, just allow the arms to consciously relax. Just allowing your arms to completely collapse into the floor. Allow the body to relax into the tips of the toes, into the tips of the fingers. And draw that feeling of lightness from the physical body up into the nostrils and up into the head. then relax the neck, muscles around the neck, and muscles around the head and the face. Just relaxing the neck and the skin over the skull, allowing the skin to stretch down towards the neck. And then relax the skin around the face, drawing the skin down towards the neck. So relaxing the skin around the face, allowing the body to relax into the floor. And go with the muscles of the arms and the legs. And just bask in that feeling of energetic lightness as we remain in this pose. And during the rest of the sequence, I'll speak less and less so that you can simply focus on relaxation rather than listening to me. So let your inner ears relax. Just observe how, just from the simple act of relaxation, although not entirely simple, just suddenly brings a feeling of intense energy. Basking in that feeling of energetic lightness, but giving yourself this time to relax provides. And when you're ready, just gently wriggle your toes and bend your knees. Just bring your feet onto the bolster. Have the knees together. Have the feet apart, just gently resting into the floor. And then just roll onto your right side. Just stay down for a breath or two. And then straighten out the top leg, come back up into a seated position. Just hold onto your knees for a moment. Just observe the energy you have released through the simple relaxation pose. So I want you to get your bolster just for your back, and then have the blanket for your head, just coming into butterfly pose. So you're just going to sit close to the bolster, not right on top of it. Have a couple of centimeters between the seat bones and the bolster. Have your knees apart, have your feet together. You can always put some blocks underneath your thighs if there's discomfort in your hips. And then just feel that the abdomen and the diaphragm and the chest opens up. So you might have to come in and out of that pose a couple of times just to really find your ideal position. But once you've found your ideal position, then you can just stay. Make sure that your head is supported. So again, covering yourself up if necessary. just feeling the openness of the chest, the diaphragm region and the abdomen. Just let the arms rest on the floor. So as we progress into the sequence, I'll speak less and less so that you can just relax and you don't feel like you need to listen. And then just push your elbows into the floor, bring yourself up into a seated position. Just cross legs, just holding onto your knees, just again observing energy. Okay, we're going to do our spinal stretching pose. So have the bolster for underneath your knees and then unfold your blanket. And then, so it's kind of wide like this, and then fold it down the center. Just make sure it's a good fold, and then fold it down the center again. And then just one more time. So you've got this long, narrow, quite chunky support, and this is going to go underneath your back. So have some space between your, so the bolster with underneath your knees, and then sit close to the end of the rolled up blanket, and then just guide your spine along that rolled up blanket. Get the end of the blanket and then roll it up to create a little pillow for your head. So again, you might need to come in and out of it a couple of times. You might feel at first you're sitting too close to the rolled up blanket. So the bolster underneath your knees, and then just guide yourself down so that the blanket is just in line with your spine, and then just adjust the position of the bolster underneath your knees so that you support the legs, but it promotes this feeling of length in the spine. So you might want to bring the bolster a bit higher up to the backs of the thighs. Just see how that feels. I'll then just bring the bolster down so that it's down around the backs of the calves, letting the legs just hang down onto the floor. And then maybe it feels like the blanket is stretching out the spine, so creating some elongation in the spine. And then relax. Never be afraid of adjusting your position until it feels effective. So this spinal elongation pose just gives the body the impression of length in the spine. when you're ready, just gently wriggle your toes and wiggle your fingers. Bring your feet onto the bolster and then gently roll yourself onto your side and then sit yourself up. Come into cross legs and then just observe the energy around the spine. And then unfold your blanket and then just bring it back into a shape like this, and then roll the end of the bolster up like a Swiss roll. So you've got some of the blanket left for your head, and that's going to go underneath your neck. It's going to give you a good neck support. And have your bolster, and you're going to come on into a little bridge pose. So I'll show you. So you're going to come down onto the floor. Just find that roll underneath your neck, and bring the feet close to the seat bones, and then lift up the seat bones, and then just place the bolster just in the small of the back, just to support the back. And then you're just going to keep your knees bent like this, and the chest lifted and open, and the support underneath your neck. You might have to just adjust that a few times to make it really comfortable, perfectly comfortable for you. And then when you've found your position, then you can, if you need to, you can cover yourself over. And either let your arms rest at the sides of the body, or you can even let your arms rest over your head. Just find which feels most comfortable for your shoulders. So this pose is a gentle inversion, but it's also really nice to stretch out any tension from your neck. After you've been here for a little while, maybe you realise that you need to make the roll short smaller or larger, so just adjust until your neck feels really comfortable and supported. So just enjoy how this pose just really softens the neck. And then to come out of the pose, just lift the seat bones and roll the bolster away so that it sits underneath your knees. And you can either keep the blanket with the roll underneath your neck, or you can unroll the blanket and just rest your head on the folded blanket as normal. Just for the last minute or two in our supported inversion, in our restorative relaxation pose. Just allowing the body to release into the floor, feeling that the body's energy radiates out from the bones and into the muscles and the organs in the flesh and the skin. Feeling the body from tips of the toes, the tips of the fingers, the top of the head, with a feeling of energetic lightness. And then when you're ready to disturb yourself, just gently wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers. Just bring your feet onto the bolster and then draw your knees in towards your chest. Just have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom, just a gentle massage on the spine. And then roll onto your right side. Just stay down for a breath or two. And then stretch out your top leg, come back up into a seated position. Just sitting in cross legs with your hands in the masti, just a final spinal lift. Draw your breath in through your nose, down into the abdomen. Be conscious of the energy that you have released through your restorative practice this morning. This evening even. And then draw your chin down to meet your chest. Just spend a moment to acknowledge the positive energy you've created inside. And then radiate some of that positive energy out into the world. And then release the backs of your hands down toward your knees, palms facing upwards. And as you raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. Thank you. So hopefully you feel as though you really lifted your energy, but in a really gentle way that just allows you to enjoy the rest of your evening and you should sleep really well later as well. So thank you very much for joining me.